Guys, I am so grateful to each and every one of you who is able to join us today. And the reason that we are here today is because while I was on vacation in Mexico and Panama, one of my beloved clients published a book. And I wanted so much to be able to promote her, but I was on vacation mode and didn't have my computer. So I am making up for it by being able to show up today and to hold space and interview her and sharing her beautiful, beautiful story. And we're going to talk about this amazing story that she put in print and shared with the world. And I think for any of you guys who have ever experienced trauma, what it takes to get to a place where you can heal and release the emotion attached to that trauma, to actually put it in print and share it with the world is monumental. It's monumental. Most people keep their trauma secret and they don't share it with anybody. And this phenomenal, powerful goddess has taken some of the most powerful traumas that anybody can ever experience, and she has put it in print and shared it with the world bravely. And if it triggers anyone, she's going to have something to say to you. We're going to discuss. So I would like to hold the floor for somebody beautiful and powerful and amazing, and somebody who has done something that very few will do in this life, which is share their life story, including the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. So Mandy Dollarhide, thank you so much for joining me today, for publishing this beautiful book, and for showing up to give people insight as to who this beautiful, powerful goddess is behind this beautiful book. And the book I'm talking about is Fertile Darkness. So first I just want people to have a little bit of insight as to who you are. So tell everyone who you are, where you were born, give us an insight as to who you are, because you're from, a unique place. We have a very different sound, as you'll hear when she starts to talk. So tell us a little bit about you, my dear.
Hi, y'all. I'm from the South. Yeah, I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, in the States, and who am I? Well, I'm a mother of 3 beautiful girls. I'm also a teacher, healer, inspirer. I love to inspire people, and just give people hope, because I've really, really inspired myself. Just watching my journey, I've lived it. And I've realized how much I have really inspired me. And I'm like, wow, how many other people need inspiration and hope that no matter what you go through, even in the darkest of places, even in the most painful things that you don't even think you can make it out of, you can. Not only that, but you can thrive and you can become like a whole person, because I wasn't whole. I know we'll get all into that, but yeah. So yeah, I love doing tarot readings. That's one of the things that has given me a lot of healing. Connecting with my guides, my angels, and connecting with the divine, has really, really helped me know who and what I am and the value that I have inside, which I didn't have any of that. And so, yeah, so also, yeah, I love doing healing with people. And most people come to me when they are in a spot that they know they need help. And I'm honored. I'm honored because I understand. I've been there. I've been through it. And I understand, and I can hold that space and love for them. And it blesses me. It's so important for us to have a safe space to be able to share the most vulnerable places and know that it's safe. And I love creating that for people.
That's so incredibly beautiful. I'd like to talk a little bit about this amazing book. So, can you just give us a little bit of insight and like tell us why you wanted to write this book? Because a lot of people experience a lot of trauma and they might go and they might do the healing work or they might just never do the healing work. But there's not a lot of people that go as far as sharing the trauma that they've experienced in their past and putting it into print and sharing it with the world. So you are so unique as a result of this. So what made you want to share your story?
Well, it started when I heard a video I was listening to a few years back. And this whoever was speaking was talking about how every single person has something to offer the world. And all my life, I looked at my family, my husband, my girls. I saw the talent and gifts and all the things that they had, and never once thought I had anything. And one day I got quiet with myself, it was just the craziest thing. And I went, you know what I do have? I do have an amazing story. I went from self hatred, hating myself, wanting to kill myself on a daily basis, not understanding the beautiful human that I was, hated every part of me, like nothing. I remember there were times where, someone would give me a compliment and I would say, would you tell my dad that? That showed me, I saw a video of myself saying that, would you tell my dad? That was this little girl who was so broken and so hurt and so abandoned that I needed somebody to see me and hear me. And so with that, I heard this video and they were like, "Well, what do you have to offer?" Well, when I got quiet, I went, "This is what I have. I have a transformative of myself. That's what I have, and that's what I can give to the world." So I started writing. And honestly, I didn't even have a computer at the time. My computer had crashed. So I literally took out a notebook and started writing just like they did years ago. And I wrote, I don't know, half of it in a note. Then I got a new computer and started doing it that way. While I was writing it, never thought for 1 second I would even publish this because I'm like, who's going to read this? Oh, by the way, I have mad respect for authors now because I know the processes and the things that go through your head. And like, I'm like, mad respect for other authors. And here's the thing, I'm not even a reader. I don't like reading. So go figure. But anyways, like so as I was writing this, I didn't think I was going to publish it, but I sort of did, but I didn't. But it's very raw, and I share everything that I thought and everything that I felt. And I was thinking, who does this? Who writes the most intimate, most vulnerable, most open like parts? But here's another thing to me, though, also, is that I've always been open. If I'm sitting there talking to somebody, I'm going to share stories with them. I'm going to share my heart with them. That's just who I am. I've always been like that. So to put it out into the world was like, wow, what a crazy thing. But yeah, I was just inspired. Because I really feel like every single person has something that is theirs and theirs alone. It's specific, it's beautiful, it's them. And everybody is so unique, so different, so multifaceted. And I'm thinking, man, if I can do this, what is this going to inspire for other people to like dig into themselves and do what they love? Because enjoyed writing every second of it. I put on one of my favorite people, Saint Finnegan, which has like beautiful music. It's just all like soul and heart, and like I just put that on and just went to typing, and I enjoyed every second of it.
What's so beautiful, Mandy? Can you give us a little bit of insight as to what it is that you share in the book in regards to what you've gone through? Because I think it's really important for people to understand just how vulnerable you are in this book and what it is that you're sharing in this book. Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, maybe she just had a childhood with poverty or something and she came out of that. Because a lot of people have, you know, stories where they came from simple beginnings and then they became famous and it was all beautiful. But your story is significantly more tumultuous than that. And I think it'd be really beautiful for people to have just a little bit of a sneak peek so they can understand that if you're brave enough to share what you went through, that there isn't anything that people can come out of and thrive through.
Absolutely. Well, the story basically is it starts off with um obviously my childhood and all the things that I walked like it literally is a timeline of my life. And so it's, it can get pretty heavy because like it's basically leading up to the whole point of the book is about, and I will share more in like details here in a minute, but the the moral of the story is whatever happens in childhood and all the things that happen leads you into making decisions and choices because of the unhealed pain and trauma that we have. And so we end up doing all these things that we don't even want to be doing and we don't understand why we're doing them. So I was raped 3 times. And the crazy thing is I never thought it was rape because I thought of rape as being violent. I thought that's what I think I was 33 years old sitting in the closet and all of this pain and trauma and all this stuff was coming out and it just flashed back to these times. And my husband comes in, he's like, what's going on? And I told him, I'm like, it's all my fault. It's all my fault. And he was like, what's your fault? And I was like, that for 33 years, I carried this guilt that this was my fault, that I did this. And he was like, babe, no, that is not your fault. You did not do this. This was not something you wanted. This was taken from you. And like, even like the very first time of being, having sex, like was taken from me and not with any of my consent. So it talks about, rape. It talks about some abuse, that also physical abuse, that and mental and emotional abuse, with different relationships that I had, with my dad, also with some of that, my mom also in some of that. And that was very difficult to write because I've healed so much. I love both of my parents and just want to wrap them up in a hug because I literally was able to like see all the things that they were and like what happened to them. And yes, I had to go through my own pain. Like I had to heal my own pain from what happened. Yes, very important. But that was very difficult to write because my biggest point was I didn't want to, my heart was not to throw anybody under the bus or do anything like that. It wasn't about that. It was about basically what has happened in your childhood that causes these things. So basically it wraps up, like you see all the processes of all the things that I walked through, and then it wraps up in an affair that I had. So being married, I guess that was 15 years ago. And so I had an affair, hurt the love of my life with everything, like hurt him deeply, hurt my family, hurt everyone because I was a tornado of just destruction and mainly to myself. And after, this affair was like the wake up call. It was the wake up call for me to figure out what the hell I needed to do to get myself whole again. And my husband tells me, like, we even talked about it the other day because he was like, when I met you, like he was 16 and I was 17. And he was like, when I met you, he said, honey, you were like broken into pieces a mess, but he loved the mess. You know, he loved all of me. But and he could always see who I was. I couldn't see it. He could always, thank God, he could always see it. But he also, what I love about this though is there's so many people that have had affairs that, you know, that they really do hurt their people, like their partner, because you have to talk about it, you know? Like I am not knocking, you know, like every relationship is different. And I think it's very specific and very special, every single one. But when you don't have that conversation, or, you know, that's straight up betrayal. And like, what I love about this though is that he basically said to me, like, what do you want to do, you know? And he actually went and got healing himself. That's a big deal, because he was like, what, I know I didn't cause you to do this, but where was my contribution in it? That's big. Because I'm thinking, you know, there's so many people who go through affairs and things like that, and it just ends all of it, and nobody gets healed, you know? Like, and you just keep repeating different cycles, because not saying you have to stay together, because we almost did make it, you know? But I mean, I want to encourage to heal the deep wounds, to be able to have, you know, really healthy relationships in your life, no matter who it is. But that's basically the story and how it goes. But it caused me to do all of these destructive things, and it was not good. You know, it was horrible. And mainly I was hurting. I was hurting, and then hurting everybody else around me. And I was like, something's got to change. And that's when I started this journey.
I really love, and I was going to ask you to talk about this actually, and you brought it up anyways, was that you don't just share your story about the trauma that you experienced, what was done to you, but you share what you did to others, to hurt others. You're fully accountable for what the pain that was caused within you caused you to do to others. And I think that's really important to own, because I think a lot of people who are traumatized and are holding on to pain don't realize that the fire that was burning their ass alive, the people that were torching them are gone. And yet we take the torch from the people who hurt us and we're lighting our own ass on fire. And as a result of that, we hurt others and we go and we torch other people, right?
Mhm.
And if
Yep.
we realize that the people that were hurting us, they're gone, and that we're holding on to that torch, voluntarily lighting our own ass on fire and hurting people as a result, this can change. But we have to hold ourselves accountable. We
Yeah.
have to be responsible for the pain that we are carrying, the anger, the hate
Yeah.
that we are carrying as a result of what we have gone through, because the emotions and the trauma and everything we are carrying is our responsibility,
Yeah.
right?
It
And we
is.
need to heal and do that work so that we're not then turning around and hurting others, because at no point is it okay to hurt others because you were hurt. It is not a justification. It is not an excuse. It's not a get out of jail card.
Mm.
The reason we are here in this life is to hurt, to heal, to learn, to expand, to step into a greater purpose, not to hurt others. It's not how this works, guys. And yet, too many people that are walking in this human life are confused about the program and how it's supposed to work.
Mhm.
And a lot of people tell a story of hurt and pain and how they come out and thrive. But you didn't just tell the story about the hurt and pain. You also told the story about how you hurt others. And there are very few that are brave enough to hold themselves accountable for the pain they caused.
Thank you. Yeah, it's massive. You know, I'm blessed that I had people that could love me through it, or just gave me grace or whatever it was. But I hurt a lot of people, and you know, the ones that I love the most. And that's what we do with pain and trauma that goes unhealed. We just keep spewing it on everybody and everything, instead of asking ourselves the questions, doing the healing work. It takes work to do this, it takes work. It takes love. I like to say love. Like, it takes a lot of love and care for oneself, and to where you don't want to hurt other people. But, like, yeah, it was, I did, and that's what I tell, people a lot, is that we do have to take responsibility. My parents couldn't heal me. Nobody could heal me. I had to heal me. I had to figure out what the hell was happening in my life, and I had to do the steps to take to do it. And yes, I took full responsibility. So much so that, I mean, if you read the book, my husband's like, "Okay, hold up a second. You're taking all of it and it's not all of yours," and I'm like, "Okay." But yeah. Yeah, and every single person has to take that responsibility for them, for whatever has happened. Like, it's not your fault for the things that happened, like, to you, which, yeah, it's not your fault at all, period, no matter what has happened. But it comes a time where you do have to take that. You have to go, "Okay, well, how is this affecting me? And what have I done with it?" I mean, I didn't even realize I was I was a pain body, just walking around, inflicting pain always on myself and always on others. And, I had to change all of it. And because what I wanted, and underneath it all, I know my heart was always to love. Like, that's what I always wanted. Even in the midst of having an affair, I was just like, even in the midst of hurting someone I love the most, I'm like, "What are you doing?" My journal entries, I have books and books of journal entries. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing right now? And I couldn't see it. I couldn't see any of it. I didn't know what was happening. I just knew that I was in this cycle and this pattern that I had to stop. So, yeah.
The pain that we cause others and what we're doing, the actions, are subconscious programming. We don't realize that we're doing it. And it's not until you do the work with somebody that helps you to be able to see that the actions, the world that you've created, is coming from that trauma. And you learn how to heal that and release it and shift your vibration, that your behavior changes. And you are in that place where you're loving yourself. And as a result of loving yourself, you wouldn't do anything to harm others. But it's in shifting how you feel about yourself and doing that work and reconciling that trauma within you that shifts that. We don't allow ourselves to have love. We sabotage love because we don't feel that we deserve it, right? And it just changes things. So I want to shift gears really quickly because one of your babies is with us. And I wanted to ask just how it's impacted the people in your life, particularly your babies, since publishing this book. So if she's willing to come and play, I'd love to hear from this beautiful, yes. I want to hear from her about how she's been impacted by you writing and publishing this book, because I don't think that there's anything more tear-jerking or tear-worthy than getting to hear one of your babies talking about what it was like seeing mama share her story, write her story, and put it out to the world and own her own mistakes and walk the healing path to become the beautiful powerhouse and example that you are. I can only imagine how it's inspired your daughters, who I know and I've been watching them, are beautiful, powerful goddesses in their own right. And they are blessed to have you as their mother. And I know they don't need to be told that. I know they don't. But I want to invite Faith to come and play and share how she feels about Mama's journey.
Hi.
I'm going to
Hello.
I did not know this is happening.
I love you.
I love you, Mama.
Faith, would you be able to to give us a little bit of insight and just let us know what it's been like for you watching your mom go through this and write this book and release it to the world? How has it impacted you as her daughter?
I think the writing of the book has been incredible because it's cool to watch her share it with everyone. But I think the biggest impact is I've known these stories. Like they're like we've talked about all of this stuff. Like I don't know. It's just I think that was the bigger impact was before she ever wrote this into a book. These were conversations that we had. I don't know if there was one thing. I don't think there was anything I was shocked by when I actually read the book through because I know her so well and I know these things and I don't know, that's the bigger impact. I mean, I love the writing and like the passion and I love that she keeps going like, "I'm not a writer." I'm like, "But you wrote a damn book, so you are a writer." And so
Yeah, you made me do that. Like, I think it was last year. You're like, you're gonna start saying you're an author, and I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
an author.
Yep. Yeah, but I think just her being so open, honest, and vulnerable with me and just kinda growing up with that would be the bigger impact. Not that this isn't a big impact, but it's not like, "Oh my god," it's like, "Oh yeah, you always had this." You know, like, it's always been there. So I'm not, like, just, um I'm blown away by who she is. I'm not like and I am blown away by the book, but I'm not surprised by any of it because it's just kinda who she is and what I kinda thought would happen. So, I don't know if that answers the question.
So, what has this done for you, being her daughter, seeing what she has done as accomplished? Has this impacted you in what you believe you can do in your life?
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. I feel like I've been in a place where I hide myself a lot to push others forward, and I think that this has helped me go like, you can still push others forward as you too are moving forward, and so, like, it's kind of been a check for me where I'm like, "Yeah, I can do this," and I can follow the things that I want to do and the things that I've dreamt about and the things that I've always wanted, and I don't have to stifle myself in order to create a beautiful world around me. I get to, like, partake and be a part of that and move forward, you know?
It's really funny that you talk about that because your mother set that example for you too. She has absolutely filtered herself and censored herself and catered herself to the people that she has interacted with to fit in, to meet that acceptance. And seeing her doing the work that she's done, she is becoming more and more unapologetically who she is and standing in her power. And if she triggers people and they don't like what she has to say, she's just like, cool, then don't be around me. Like, I'm going to do what's right for me. And I'm seeing more and more of that. And because she's showing you that example, I'm now hearing that that's impacting you and you're starting to do the same because you should be shining your beautiful light. You absolutely should. And you should never step aside for anybody else to shine theirs because I'm pretty sure there's more than enough room for all of us to shine our light. And if
Yes.
you're shining your light and it's triggering somebody else, it's only because you're standing in your power and they're afraid to stand in theirs. So you're
Yeah.
making them sit in an uncomfortable place, knowing that they're not doing what they should be doing to shine their light. And as a result, they'll tell you to dim yours.
Yeah.
But if you understand that, you can go, you know what? You have your free agency to shine your light or not. I'm not going to dim mine because I'm making you uncomfortable. Because the fact that you are uncomfortable, it's a good thing. It's called inspiration. Shine your freaking light, or the door's that way. This is not
Mhm.
my problem. It's a you problem. I love you. I wish you healing, but I'm not dimming anything for you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I
Yep.
think that's what really matters is that you have that perspective. So, Mandy doing what she's done in walking that healing path to stand in her power and to do what's right for her and to omit the people who are trying to tell her to dim her light or trying to censor her is setting such a beautiful example for you. So just hearing you say that, how it's really impacted you and the fact that you realize how you were stepping aside for other people and, not shining your light as brightly is so powerful.
I think too, when you do stifle yourself, and it's something that I've really been realizing, and just kind of like, if you just kind of take the stance of the observer in your own life, and like I just kind of look at it, and me holding myself back and not saying what I think or what I feel, or taking up too much space or being too much or whatever that is, it's not just stifling me, it's stifling everyone around me. I mean, I have watched relationships not do well because I came in thinking I can make everything peaceful, instead of just saying and being who I am and what I want to say. And I'm like, that's, you kind of mess everything up when you don't step forward and just be so authentically you. It's not good for you, and it's also not good for anyone else around you. Like, it doesn't look good on anyone. Like, it doesn't help anything. And I think that's a hard truth I've been realizing, where I'm like, oh, I think I've been stunting not just my own growth, but the people around me. And that's got to change and shift.
It's funny that you say that, because I think one of the biggest grievances that men have about women is that we don't speak our truth. Right? What is it that women do when a guy wants to go out and have fun on a Friday night and the woman's like, no, I just want you to stay and comfort me because it's day one of my period and I'm in pain and I actually need you. We tell him to go out on the Friday night, and then when he comes home, we give him grief because we really wanted him to stay. Right? And the guys always get upset because they're like, why doesn't she just tell me to stay home and pamper her because she was in pain? Now I'm in trouble, even though she told me I could go out. Right? So unfiltered communication is the best thing that you can do for any relationship, whether it hurts or not. As long as the communication is motivated by love, it will be received. Because there are things that I have communicated to my life partner that I've been with for 10 years that absolutely hurt him when I said it. But he respects the fact that I was unfiltered as I was in the moment and was fully open and honest with him about everything and didn't hold anything back. Because if he had found out the full truth later, he would have felt betrayed. Right?
And then you feel more loved and more accepted because you are not putting on a face, and you're not saying, oh, this is fine. Like, you feel completely accepted and completely loved. So it's good for both of you, because for you, that's like okay, I don't want to be accepted for something I'm not. Like, I am being completely who I am, and I'm being accepted and loved there. That's a deeper, better thing that wouldn't happen if you're not honest,
That's exactly it. It's something that the world in general really, really struggles with, is unfiltered communication. And it's difficult for us to learn how to do that and step into that until we learn to love and value ourselves, and to know that our truth should be spoken. And whether it's heard or not, that's up to other people's free agency to hear it or not, but our truth should be spoken. And it's just always important to be mindful that it is spoken with the energy of love. That's what matters more than anything else. This is what everyone who is listening to this right now needs to be aware of. And this is why I have always, just very much so encouraged Mandy to be unfiltered and speak her truth, because I know this woman has been motivated by love her whole goddamn life. I don't need to tell her what energy to be in, because this woman is love. She is unconditional love. A lot of people don't know how to be that, and they have to learn how to find it. But all the pain, all of the trials, all the tribulations this woman has suffered, she never stopped being love. Never. And so what needed to be encouraged was learning how to speak her truth, because that's the big thing that you were censoring, Mandy, was your truth. You stifled your truth. You held back. You catered to others to meet their sensibilities. Mm-hmm. And now that has shifted to the point where this baby has been born. And I could not be more proud of you, because like I said before, there are so few who do this in life, who share their trials and their tribulations and their trauma, and then to take it a step further, hold themselves accountable for the shit they did as a result of the pain and call it out. So I just don't think that there's a person on this planet that's braver than you in this moment. I'm just saying. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Seriously. I mean, and this girl knows because she's walked through the fire with me, like wholeheartedly. And she is one of the people that I hurt the most and hurt her real, real bad.
Well, we had to heal a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot of healing, a lot of restoring, a lot of conversations, a lot, because I didn't know that I was in a loop and in a pattern of hurting people and like hurting myself and hurting others. I do love though that Harmony, you did bring that out about I was always love underneath it all. I was always love. I was always forgiving. I was always unconditional love underneath my surface and of all the patterns and programs and all the things. I always did love people. And so much so that this one here has gotten on to me like, what? You let so and so treat you like this? Are you kidding me? You know, like that's enough. But yeah, this has all like really helped me to understand my worth and my value and not let anyone come in and take that from me ever. And I don't want that's what I like to teach is not to let anybody do that. You know, we all have a purpose. We all have a mission. We all have something that we love to do. And we should have energy and people around us to really uplift and encourage us. And speaking of Harmony, like you've been working with me for what, the last 3 years? And really have helped me tremendously on understanding my worth and value. Just another level of it. And owning, you know, and just being in that space. And, you know, one of the things that Harmony's told me, and one of the things that I'm, you know, stepping into more and more is being unapologetically yourself, you know, and if it offends people, like she told me, even, you know, as we've unraveled all this stuff, you know, she told me, she was like, if people are triggered by anything that you do or say, she was like, you can say you're welcome, because your welcome means I triggered something in you. That means you're going to go within deeper inside yourself. Ask yourself questions of why this is triggering to you. Why is this hurt you? Why is this opening you up? Because this book is so vulnerable and so raw that it's going to open up wounds. And what you do with those wounds is you go in there and you feel them and you heal them and you go get help if you need help. But she was like, you are expanding people. You are helping them. You are helping them grow and look at their shit inside. And she was like, and the only thing you need to say to them is, you're welcome. You're going to feel better for it. You're going to be healed for it.
No, I was just thinking like that's such a nice perspective, because now I'm thinking every time I get triggered or offended, I need to be like, thanks. Like, thank you.
I know,
You know,
right? And,
just let that.
You're 100% right. The people who trigger us, I call them our perfect button pushers.
Yeah.
Right? Because you wouldn't and you don't have emotion about things that people do unless you have trauma or something attached to it. So if you think about it for a second, something really simple, like your favorite color, okay? My favorite color is purple. And if somebody was to say to me, if I was wearing gray one day, they'd be like, gray's really stupid. Why are you wearing that? It looks dumb on you. I'd be like, cool. I like your opinion. You're welcome to have it. I'm just going to go anywhere else. Like I wouldn't have feelings about them insulting gray because I don't care about gray. It's not my favorite color. But if I'm wearing purple one day and somebody comes up to me and they tell me that I look stupid in purple and purple's a dumb color, I'm going to be all up in there, girl. I'm going to have some issues. I might have something to say. I'm going to have some feelings that are going to come up because there's attachment to that, right? Now, is that because of the words that came out of their mouth, or is that because how I feel about things, right? It has everything to do with how I feel about things. So that's what we need to be aware of. We need to be accountable for our feelings and be aware of the fact that if there is upheaval, an uprise of emotion, that we are to see that person as our perfect button pusher and to thank them, because what they're doing is causing a breakthrough. When we have emotion, we call it a breakdown. It's not a breakdown, people. It's a breakthrough. It is emotion. And when you have emotion, it's self-communication. And when you're self-communicating, if you take substance or you do something to shut it down, you're telling yourself you're not worthy of love and support when there's a breakthrough. You are actually diminishing your self-love and self-worth every time you shut your emotion down. And yet when you feel emotion, if you see it as a breakthrough and you see that there's self-communication and you celebrate it and you love yourself and you pamper yourself through it, you're telling yourself you have worth and you have value, and your self-love will actually grow. And then when you learn how to take it to the next step and hold space for it and source it and release it and heal it, then you're thriving and expanding. So if this is a new truth for you guys, please save it and replay it because it's good for you. Okay.
It's
These
true.
are powerful truths being spoken right now.
It really is true. And like now I've trained myself, you know, like whenever I do get triggered and something triggers me, because what have I done in the past? I've just blasted somebody when it wasn't even, they were just saying something or voicing their opinion or telling me about them, not about me. You know, if you are secure and know who you are, other people tell you all the time about them, not about you, because you know you. But anyways, when I get triggered, you know, it sucks. Okay, I'll just say it. It's not fun. But I love what you just said about the breakthrough. Like literally, it's like, okay, why is this why is this hurting me? Or why is this pissing me off right now? Let's dive into this a little bit. Let's go in there and let's find out some things. And ultimately, I've seen it over and over again, even with myself, that I realize it's not the other person. It's something inside of me. Like if something's triggering me, that's another place I'm going to end up loving about me. You know what I'm saying? Like even you go deeper and deeper into it. And we're all going to get triggered. And, you know, it's hard to talk about if someone does get triggered by my book to say, you're welcome. Like that was hard for me because my heart is so pure. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just don't. My heart, I have so much love for humanity. I have so much love for people in general because people are so freaking special. And how many people are walking this goddamn earth right now not knowing how special and loved and worthy and cherished they are? That was me. And I still have to remind myself sometimes. And so I have such this heart, you know, to love and bring this love and be a beacon of love. So I know my heart. I would never. And if someone comes to me and says to me, which I feel like we can have conversations about this, I feel like we can talk to each other and say, hey, when you said this, the way you said it, it hurt. There's a way to have conversations without it being a crazy mess, even if we do get triggered. You know, I try to go within first to make sure it's me and not something someone else did, you know, first. And then we'll proceed from there. But
I would
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
I was gonna say with your book especially, I think you were ridiculously kind and gracious. Because like I said, I know your background in these stories, and even as I was reading the book, I was almost like, is she being too kind to these people? You know, like I definitely questioned that. And I don't think that you were too kind. Oh, I think that you are gracious. I really do. I think you're just if someone read it and took away that you were vindictive or that you're just trying to hurt some, like that would just be the most ridiculous thing, because I'm like, guys, I know things. I could burn bridges so fast and you could burn bridges, but you didn't. I feel like you came at it with such a place of, I'm so grateful for all of these things that have happened to me. And just because you're someone that's in that story, if that does trigger them, I mean, you didn't say anything that was, I don't know, you were just very, very gracious. So you were very honest, but you were gracious with your love and acceptance of the entire situation. So if someone did just come at you for that, I would just kind of be like, you're welcome.
Yeah. And what Harmony says, jog on.
Yes, exactly. Faith, can you just let us know why it is that people should read your mom's book?
I look at my mom and I see um, someone who should not be functioning, like based on her story and the things that have happened in her life. I don't think she should be a functioning, loving, even normal human being, you know. But she's not just that. She is functioning and loving and gracious and kind and loving life, and she's full of life and just an incredible human being. And I think you should read the book because if she can create this life, it is possible for anyone. Because all the things that she's gone through, I mean, she should not be the person that she is. And that came from a lot of work. And I think that it's worth it to do the work because then you get this incredible life. And she turned all of that pain into this beauty, into something that she created the family that she didn't have, you know, like, and does that mean that she's perfect? No, she is perfectly imperfect. She is incredible. And I don't know, I think you should read the book if you kind of want to face yourself and have a really happy and healthy life. It doesn't, in the beginning, you're going to read this book and be like, oh my God, so much is happening. I don't know if I can finish this. Make it to the end because there's a silver lining and the life is good. There's just a lot of heartache and pain in the beginning. So
I love so much what you have to say, Faith. I just don't think that there's anything better than hearing from somebody who loves her so much as to why this book is so important and, you know, the impact that it's had. You know, I just have so much respect for anybody who does the healing work, because as somebody who has been working with clients, helping them heal for a decade now, I have met so many more that say no and run away. I represent the work. And so people who aren't willing to do the work do not stay in my orbit for very long. And there are a lot of people who have run screaming because they're afraid of the monster in the closet. And guess what? You already met the monster. You already tangled with it. You already came out the other end and thrived. Why are you still imagining a monster in the closet? There is no freaking monster in the closet. It's not a thing, right?
Yeah.
People get so confused as to what the work is, and they think they're going to have to relive their trauma. And that's not, when you work with somebody that knows what they're doing, what the work is. It is not. It is about releasing the residual that is living in your body and energy body as a result of what you've been through. It's about getting to know your mental operating system and rewiring your neurology to change your life, because there are programs that have been created as a result of the trauma that you've lived through. And when you learn how to do that work, to release the residual trauma, the energy that is left, that is creating issues and dis-ease in your body, and to change your programming so you are thriving as a result, that is when you get to stand in the place that Mandy is standing in, sharing a powerful, powerful story of coming out the other end and thriving, because now there isn't emotion attached to that trauma anymore. And for all of you who haven't done the work, you would not believe how easy it is to tell your story when you've released that emotion attached to it. The only reason it's still a secret is because you have energy in your energy body that is creating that pain when you think about it. This is work that is beautiful. It's a lot easier than you think it is. There's a lot more laughter and fun that is had on the path. And it is worth it when you come out the other side. When you come out the other side, I'm telling you, there is not a person I have interviewed after doing the work that wants to go back to being fucked up. There just isn't. I mean, literally, if you could go back to where you were 3 years ago when you started writing this book, would you?
No.
Hell no.
No, hell no. Mm-mm. Because I've seen the growth already in me since then. Even, I mean, I think I told you last week, I'm like, I don't even recognize the person that was writing this book, because ultimately I had to go back into all those places that had already healed. So it was really weird writing it. And then on top of this, fast forward 3 years, I'm completely different than I was even then. I would probably, if I wrote this book now, it'd probably be different because I feel like we grow and we change, and as we grow, and the work, it is work on yourself, and it's so worth it because the love that I have now, the joy that I have now that I live with, do I go through shit? Yes. But I know how now to go into it, what to do, all the things, and always get help. Okay. Anybody out there, I had someone ask me the other day, they thought they could do all this on their own. And I was like, you can't. Sometimes you really need help, and take it from someone who's done all this work. What is the one thing that I've done? I've got outside help. And that will help you so much. Get Harmony. Harmony is amazing. Come to me, come to like whoever that you trust, that can help you work through these things. Because like when you have someone holding space for you, I mean, that was one of the biggest things I could do. Even whenever I was having an affair, I kept this for a whole year from my husband. And I thought I could just do it. I thought I could just journal. I thought I could just take care of it myself. No. It got worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's so important to do that work and to have someone that can hold that love and that space for you. And it's so worth it. Like I said, that's why that's why I have such, I feel inspiration inside of me because of the love I have and the joy that I have, and that I live with, and the energy that I live in. Like most of the time, I'm going to have days, I'm going to walk through things. There is going to be that we'll get, we're human. Okay. That's going to happen. But compared to what I used to be and now, 100% different. So that's all I'm saying.
Faith, I want to thank you so much for joining us and for sharing things from your perspective, from the perspective of a child who's come out of all of this, because I think there's a lot of children who see their parents in pain and struggle, and they know that the damage that they're doing to hurt the family is from that, and they wish more than anything that their mom and dad would just heal. I know what that's like myself, because my mother was born and raised in a satanic cult, and she didn't survive. She did not come out the other end okay. She's still alive, but she did not survive. So when you talk about your mother and how she shouldn't be functional and how she shouldn't be where she is in life, I get you, because my mother didn't come out okay, and she didn't heal, and she's not where your mother is. So I'm envious. And I have a father who is severely depressed and suicidal, and he's tried to end his life multiple times, and he's not okay either. So both of my parents did not heal. And I had to reconcile with the fact that I wasn't able to help them, and I needed to help myself. I needed to jump out of the boat because it was sinking, and I needed to save myself, and I needed to let them sink if that's what they wanted to do. And that's one of the most painful things to reconcile, is the fact that you can't rescue your parents when they're burning alive. You're watching it happen, and they're burning everyone around them, including you, and you can't stop it. And you are one of the few who was lucky enough to see your mom heal and thrive, and you're getting that example, and it's helping you heal and thrive as a result. So it's so incredibly beautiful to have you come and to attest to the healing and the impact that it's had on your life as a result of what she's done.
It's incredible. And especially like your story is the majority of my friends. It's very rare. And it's one of those things where I know. So if me and my mom have problems, or me and my dad have problems, I go, hey, this is a problem, and we talk about it. And that's not something that really, I don't think any of my friends have that with their parents. And so I know what a gift that is. I really, really do. And I think about that often. And I'm very, very thankful that I'm able to do that with them, because they have done the work. And it's, I don't know. I think they took what their parents didn't do and created something for us. That wasn't perfect, but it is open, and it's all right, come on, let's deal with it. And so like, if you want to heal, Like if I want to heal with my parents, I can do that. And that's just an incredible gift. And that's something that I get so frustrated with my parents, with my grandparents, because I'm like, you have these incredible kids who would do this with you. What's wrong with you? And so like I'm just kind of watching that because I've had this otherworldly thing that should be the norm, but unfortunately it's not. But yeah.
Now you can take that beautiful example that she set for you and take it to the next level. And you'll have, and already do have, a mother who's a grandchildren to other family members, right, that have had babies. So when you have yours, you'll have an amazing grandparent who's amazing grandparents who are a beautiful example of love and healing and expansion. So I love this so much. Go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to say that this girl, like, she's been like beside me ever since she was little, and fought through things with me, held my hand, my heart. When my mom died, she's the lap I was in. Like, this girl has been beside me, like best friend. Who would have ever thought you could have children and they turn out to be like the most precious, bestest, closest friends in your entire life? What? And I understand, Harmony, what you're saying, because I didn't have that with my parents. Some of it I was able to heal a little bit, but not a lot. Nothing like we do. And the closeness was not there, with my parents. But with them, and I will say that my oldest daughter, we're still working on our relationship. I'm just gonna be very honest and say that. And there's just,
I was gonna say, I think yes, with your oldest daughter, you are still working on your relationship, but with all of us, they're like at different levels.
yep.
But we are constantly working on it. I feel
Yep.
like things come up and we're just like, okay. But it's not supposed to be perfect.
No,
It's life.
no, it's life. We're in life. We're in human form. Like,
Yeah.
we're having an experience here in human form, and it's happening, and we will always be working on it. But I'll tell you one thing, like me and all of my girls, we have I feel like the relationships are very deep in their own way, all of them. And Leah too. Like, Leah, she blows my mind with how much she just, I mean, everything I've done, she's just like, oh my God, mama. Like, she has been like a cheerleader too. Like, she tells me all the time how much I inspire her. And just the closeness. And Crystal too, I know we all have that together, but the relationships are different, and there will always be something to heal or something to talk about or something to be open about. And this is how you have beautiful relationships, is you're open and you talk about them. You come to the other person and you have that mutual respect for them. And if I mean, I don't know. I just want to thank you, my dear, because you have been such a beautiful, I just can't even, I feel like you were just like an angel. Well, you're the one that's here, and I'm going to just talk about you. But, but like, you've just been the angel sent from heaven to help me through all of my processes. She has been like a cheerleader for me, even in the most painful of places. And even though I hurt you, but thankfully, like you said, we worked through it all. And we whatever comes up, we work on it.
We did, especially in the beginning. Our relationship growing up, I think, was really codependent, and like we kind of needed each other to breathe. And then there was a big step away, and just like, okay. And then there was hurt, and there was pain, and there was working through it and healing it. And then it's like, now we have that, like we have that depth that we always had, but now it's like 2.0, like it's the good stuff because it's healed and it's healthy, and it's not a need anymore. It's just like, this is because we've worked so hard on this relationship. It is the way it is, like, I'm so happy. You said forever that I was going to need to be in like deep therapy, or like, I've just messed you up. And I'm like, what was cool is that we were able to go into kind of deep therapy together, where I would go, hey, this was pretty traumatizing. Can I sit with you and can you pretend kind of like you were, I don't know, like we've sat in the place together where I'm like, let's rewind 5 years, and we sit in that spot remembering what you were like and what I was like and how we were going to go back and heal that. And so I think that is pretty incredible. And I'm really grateful that you were able to do that with me. I know it's a gift, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah. And, even when you were like, when I hurt you the most is whenever you were 14, 15 years old. And I remember it was, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. And all of that pain was coming up. And I said, all right, I need you to jump timelines right now. I need you to go back to that place when you were 14 years old. And I need you to tell me what you needed to say that you couldn't say at that point. And you were like, I don't know if I can do that. This is going to be awful.
No. I was like, when you said that, I was like, no, it's fine. I'm fine.
Oh, that's true.
I'm good. And then you were like, do it. And I was like, no. And you were like, do it. I was like, no. And then I was like,
I had to convince you because you were like, you couldn't do it. And I was like, I need that raw emotion. I need to know everything you felt in that point of how I hurt you. And I need you to tell it to me. And you did. I've done the same thing with Leah, which is beautiful, like tell it to me. What is it? Let's go back to that spot where I hurt you the most. And I need you to talk about it and say whatever. Right now, I'm good. You just need to be able to express. And I've held that space for you, and that I think that just really shifted everything because I was able to cry with you and apologize to you and tell you.
You sat in the space with me, and I think that's what I needed. You were able to give me in that moment what I didn't have before. And I've watched you, and you were able to give yourself that. You didn't get that with your parents. You didn't have these moments that I've had with you. So you go back and you're like, all right, in this situation, my dad said this, my mom said this is how it, like, you went in and healed that, But I actually, like I said, this is not the norm. And I wish that it was. I got to do that with you, where I was like, okay, in this situation, how would we rewrite it? And we rewrote it together. And that was pretty incredible.
Thank you so much for sharing everything from your perspective, Faith. This is so incredibly beautiful. I'm going to send you off. You can be in the background there and watch. We're going to wrap this up. So thank you so much, babe. Mandy, is there anything that you would like to tell the peeps about you and your journey and why they should get this beautiful book?
I think that if you want to transform your life completely, because the energy of this book is transformation. That's what if you look at the book as a whole, you see one person, you see this person that was in this life and went and did a complete 180, and it just went like completely different. My thing is, I love talking about your higher self, your best version of you. It exists. Even no matter where you are in life, no matter what is happening right now, there is a higher version of you that's already gone through all the shit you're going through. And you can tap into that higher version and be like, give me some guidance. So it goes from, I went from this place to this place, completely different. The transformation. So if you want to transform or change your life in any form, start with picking up this book, because you're going to see all the things. Yes, it's heavy but it's there for a reason. And also what I love about it though, is there's so many, the things I share in there, there's so many people who feel that way or have felt that way or have been through these things. And you're going to feel like you're not alone. You're going to feel like, oh my God, somebody else feels this way or felt this way. Yes. Like you're going to feel like you are wrapped up in a hug from me. And that's a beautiful thing. But you just the whole book is transformation and change and redemption and hope and restoration and bringing like what I call heaven to earth. And so that is the energy. You're going to feel inspired. You're going to be like, wow, she did this, and this. What can I do? Like that is what is in you. That is who you are and what is in you. And just start with just after we get off of this live, just stop where you are and give yourself a hug and tell yourself you're doing amazing. And that is the energy of this book.
Drop the mic. Thank you so much for being willing to come on today. And my little lovebird is talking because he wants me to come and get him because he's done his nap. But thank you so much for, I know, it's so funny. He's always got to interrupt me at some point and make himself heard. So we're going to get him on so that he can come and say hello before we wrap up this beautiful interview. And I'm going to tell you, it was not in our design to have Faith come in and join us, but it was so beautiful and perfect the way that it was. I don't think it could have been any more beautiful to have one of your babies come on and share her story about how it's impacted her being, you know, one of the babies that's gone through that, and just how beautiful it is that you've done this work and her getting to see her mother heal and the family heal and just the healing that's happened for all of you and how you're all thriving as a family. That I think is what we want to see happen around the world, is for everybody to heal and thrive and for their families to thrive together. Because for all of you who are watching this, if you're sitting with trauma, if you're holding on to trauma and pain and anger, if you think that you're not impacting anyone with that, you're wrong. You're hurting everyone around you. You might not realize it, but you are hurting everyone around you. And this beautiful book, the reason you need to get it and you need to read it is because you can see what it looks like to actually come out the other end and be willing to not only share your story, but be accountable for the mistakes that you made to hurt other people from a place of trauma. And there are people like her and I that are here to help you walk that path, to come out the other side, to stop hurting other people and to thrive and create a beautiful love arena with the people that are around you and see them glow and thrive the way that Faith is and the way the rest of the family is healing and thriving together. So go and get this book. And Mandy, thank you for being such a beautiful example of the work.
Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this. I just love you. I'm so grateful for you, every part of you. You will always just, I don't know, be just right here in my heart. Thank you so much, Harmony. This just means the world to me.
If you're watching this on your phone and you're like, how am I supposed to scan this QR code? It's on my phone and I need my phone to scan it. Just go to Amazon and just look up fertile darkness. Just type in fertile darkness and the book will come up. I've done it a few times to look up I looked it up or did it up to create this QR code. It's super easy to find. It is on Amazon. You've got it in a couple of different, there's, I think, hard cover, soft cover, and then there's also the Kindle version as well, the ebook. So do whichever one works for you, but get yourself a copy of this and read it and use it as inspiration for your own healing, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your story and for being present for everybody. And Faith, thank you so much for joining us as well, sweetheart. It was such an honor to get to know you better and to hear how this has impacted you. Thank you to everybody who is joining us live, or if you're joining us after the fact and you're seeing this on the feed. We are blessed to have you watching this and joining this. And I truly, truly hope that this inspires you to start a healing path if you haven't done so. We both wish you love and healing. And we hope you have an amazing Valentine's Day, because it is Valentine's Day tomorrow. So we send you so much love on the day of love, which is tomorrow. So, mwah. to each and every one of you. And think of tomorrow as not just a day to celebrate the other people that you love, but celebrate the love that you have for you. And do so by thinking about how you can support yourself on a healing journey. So, love to all of you. And we will see you guys one day in the future. Unless, of course, you decide to work with us. Maybe you could see us sooner. Up to you. Mwah.